Hello, this is Angelique, and you are listening to We're Booked Up, a segment of the Gaston Speaks podcast wherein Kendall, Andrew, and I discuss books. For this episode, we'll be discussing Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. There will be spoilers, so please come back after you've read the book, if you want to avoid those. But first, what have we been reading or watching?
I have read books, plural.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if it counts as it's more than one, but not. I don't know. So I finished How to Be Eaten after 3 podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
I would rate it 4.5 stars. It was odd. I don't recommend for either of you.
Okay.
It was odd, but I liked it. It was strange in a good way for me, but I think it was more. It felt more like literary fiction as opposed to like fantasy fiction towards the end. And then I also read In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. She wrote One Italian Summer. That was a really huge hit.
Yeah, it was really popular. Yeah.
5 stars. It was. I thought it was going to be a 3-star read.
What was that one called again?
In 5 Years.
In 5 years. Okay. Did you read One Italian Summer?
No. Did you?
No, but it was on like a bunch of lists. That's why I was wondering.
Was it a YA book?
No, this one is in general
think
fiction.
either.
Didn't she start in YA?
I think so.
Maybe that. I recognized her name, but I could not place her for the longest time. I found this book shelving one day. It just popped out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just was in the mood to read it, I think is what happened. The reason I liked it is because it's a love story, but it doesn't belong in romance, if that makes sense. Like, there is something unique about it. It's, for me, it started out one way and it kind of finished in a different way, even though you knew exactly what was going to happen.
The journey was better than the obvious destination.
No, it was the destination wasn't what you thought it was.
Oh, I thought you said, okay.
So, like, the events happened, but the perception of the events is different than what you think it's going to be. And it was just different, and I liked that for that reason. And then watching stuff, we didn't watch a ton of stuff. Marcus and I, first of all, we finished Echo on Disney. It is a Marvel show. The Native American Choctaw lady who I'm trying to think of the character's name because the character's name is not Echo. Oh, Maya. She was a character that was in Hawkeye, I think, briefly, and she was like working for Kingpin, and then they gave her own like side story. It did not get enough attention because it was beautiful. They worked with the Choctaw Nation to like create this really pretty. It was visually appealing to me.
This is the problem. There's so much Marvel. There's so much Star Wars that the good ones kind of get shoved in with all the other. Like, it's hard for them to break out of kind of like the machine, if you will.
It took a long time to watch, but I don't know. The main character is deaf. And so it's a mixture of signing and speaking and doing both at the same time and watching different crazy characters in the world. Dude, that was kind of fun. I don't know. I liked it, but I don't think it got enough attention. And then we started the new Daredevil series. And it started out so cheesy. It felt very fake. But then there was this really good scene in the middle with the main character and Vincent D'Onofrio. And I loved Vincent D'Onofrio. It was just so good. So I'm intrigued. I'm curious to see where it goes. But the books were really what I was focused on this past month.
Nice. What about you? I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to remember what I watched.
I know it's early that we were recording this.
My fault, by the way. I'm sorry.
Okay, I started reading a webtoon, a Korean one, that's really long and ongoing, and it was really good. I don't know if y'all are familiar with, like lit RPG kind of, or
Role player.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
It's just like dungeons basically that people go into, and they have to basically level up and stuff and clear these dungeons. Anyway, it's not important. It's really good. It's called My S-Class Hunters. It's actually based on a Korean web novel. I started another one recently that has a weird premise about a guy who goes into a dungeon and he ends up on the top floor basically, which is like the most dangerous one, and he becomes a farmer. And then what else did I do? Oh, I watched the Goes Wrong show.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's good. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's funny. Especially the Shakespeare episode. That one was good.
I think you might like it.
Okay.
I-
Where's it? What's it on?
It's on Peacock, but not for
Peacock.
long. So you better at least watch
Okay.
at least.
Okay.
It's not.
Episode.
I don't think you're
I've
gonna
heard of it,
love
but
it,
just-
but
okay.
it is amusing. I don't think you'd be like, that was dumb. Like, it's just fun.
Gotcha.
What else? That's about it. That's all I did on YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
What
Car
about you?
crash.
Yeah. No, I haven't been watching as many of those.
Okay.
Tornadoes, natural disasters.
Yes.
Floods. Okay.
Perhaps that's why you reap that whenever you go on vacation. You're manifesting.
Hey, no, we broke it because this time was good.
There was a wildfire,
But
in
not
Myrtle
near her.
Beach.
I wasn't in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
Oh my
she had good
gosh.
weather where she was.
Okay.
Well, there was that Wednesday when I had to stay in because of.
because of the tornadoes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there were any tornadoes near there. I think that was mostly on this side of the state. It wasn't my
Angelique.
fault, Kendall.
Okay. Okay.
The juju, she got bad juju in there.
Maybe it's just expanding outward.
Yeah, there you go. It's a bigger sphere. Whatever.
Climate change is my fault.
Instead
Is
of,
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
instead of
exactly.
specifically Carolina Beach, now it's Myrtle Beach and surrounding areas.
Within a 300-mile radius, all weather
We're
events.
within a 300-mile radius.
And we had weather
we had
events.
tornadoes. Okay.
That's
touche.
funny. So I finally caught up with a little series called Somebody Somewhere. It's on HBO. It's in its third season. I think it got renewed for a fourth. It's Bridget Everett. She's a lounge singer in New York, and it's just about these people in Kansas, and they live these
Wait,
lives.
she is actually a lounge
Yeah.
singer in New York, or
Mhm.
the character is?
No, she is.
That's
The character's not. Yeah.
fascinating.
So she's not. You wouldn't have seen her in a lot of stuff because she's kind of on that scene. I've really liked it for several seasons, and I finally caught up with it. It's charming, it's funny, the characters are interesting. It's just a quiet little series, and I like it. And then what else did I watch? I'm still catching up with all if you have not seen Anora, it won Best Picture. Anora's fantastic. It's a hoot and a half.
It's on Disney Plus.
Really?
Yes.
Oh God.
Well, okay. Let me.
It's on Hulu.
It might be on Hulu, and we have a package, so
Gotcha.
it shows up in our Disney Plus. So while I'm searching for Bluey, because on the
God, just keeps getting worse.
on the kids version of Disney, you can
Yeah.
only get things that are rated G. And,
Okay, good.
oh no, that's not. Well, you can do that, but then the other issue is it doesn't automatically play the next episode, and Bluey is 7 minutes long, y'all. If I need to take a shower, I need more than 7 minutes, so I got to put it on the adult one so that it
Loops.
keeps going with the episodes or whatever.
Oh,
Anyway,
geez.
so I was clicking through, it was like Anora, Bluey, as I was going down in the menu. The Kardashians. So
I don't know why that. Oh God. Okay, so
Echo.
Echo. Yeah, this is interesting. And then I love that. I read The Life Impossible by Matt Haig.
Oh yeah.
I actually, so my problem with the what was the one Midnight Library was not that I didn't think it was well written. It was lovely. It's just that I kind of figured out how it was going to end.
Mhm.
This one I had no idea how it was going to end,
Ooh.
and I did not care.
Oh.
It got weird. There's almost like a weird supernatural type twist, which the other one's kind of a fantasy, but this was like aliens and
Oh.
in like a spot in the water, and it started off kind of interesting, and I kind of liked it, and then it just and
It
I did
became
not
a
like
Life
it.
Impossible.
It became a book impossible. The other one that did that for me was Jodi Picoult's The Wish You Were Here.
Uh-huh.
There's like a big twist in the middle of it, and I loved the first part, and then it had the big twist, and I was like, I don't care what happens the rest of this book. So that's kind of how that one was. Our book club was very mixed. Most people did not like it at all,
That's
and
interesting.
they loved Midnight Library.
Because also Jodi Picoult, like she writes all the big books that have all the twists, and usually people love them. But
Oh no, they
this one-
liked that one. They
Oh.
hated Life Impossible.
Oh,
But
okay.
people like Carol and some of our others who really like Midnight Library were really gung ho about it,
Aw.
and we were all kind of disappointed because we all had liked the previous one better. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a shame.
Boom, boom.
But anyway, and then I read this mostly this morning, and that was,
But you read it.
I read it, and then I actually have a summer. There's one I want to read for book club. It's the nonfiction book. It's When Women Ran Fifth Avenue. It's about the birth of the fashion industry and the women behind the scenes at a time when women weren't in power, were making big moves. So that one's kind of cool. But I'm kind of free. I might actually read something like something else that I'm not required to read.
What would that be?
I don't know. That's the problem. And so I end up just watching The Nanny and going to sleep because I can't figure out what I want to watch or read. But I'll figure out something. So
Cool.
Are we ready to begin?
Mm-hmm.
That was so dramatic. To begin.
To begin.
Da-da-da.
All right, I will read the synopsis. I will synopsisize it.
Please and thank you.
An international sensation that has sold more than 1 million copies in Japan and was named a Best Book of the Year by U.S. publications from BuzzFeed to The New Yorker. Convenience Store Woman is the charming and unforgettable story of Tokyo sales clerk Keiko Furukura. Keiko is an unusual person, someone who has never fit in, but when she takes a job at a Smile Mart, she finally finds peace and purpose in her daily tasks. But there is a huge pressure on Keiko to pursue a career, to find a husband, and she feels forced to take desperate action in order to please the people around her instead of herself. Is there room in this normal world for someone as strange as Keiko? All right, what do we think of that?
Was yours actually different?
Yeah,
Do you want
Let's
me to read it, or do you want to read
I can
it?
do it.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
The English language debut of one of Japan's most talented contemporary writers, selling over 650,000 copies there, Convenience Store Woman is a heartwarming and surprising story of 36-year-old Tokyo resident Keiko Furukura.
Furukura.
Yep, that. We're just gonna point to her because I'm really bad at pronouncing things. So Keiko, I
Same.
got that was cool. Okay,
Same.
Keiko has never fit in neither in her family nor in school. And when at age of 18, she begins working at the Hiramachi branch of Smile Mart. She finds peace and purpose in her life. In the store, unlike anywhere else, she understands the rules of social interaction. Many are laid out line by line in the store's manual, and she does her best to copy the dress, mannerisms, and speech of her colleagues, playing the part of normal person excellently, more or less. Keiko is very happy, but the people close to her, from her family to her coworkers, increasingly pressure her to find a husband and to start a proper career, prompting her to take a desperate action. A brilliant depiction of a world hidden from view, Convenience Store Woman is an ironic and sharp-eyed look at contemporary work culture and the pressures we all feel to conform. Oh, sorry, there's a piece of tape over it. So, as well as a charming and completely fresh portrait of an unforgettable heroine. So they are a little different.
They are a little different.
Some of it was the same, but some of it was different.
I like yours better. I think.
Actually, yeah,
I do
that's a very good
too.
description. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, it kind of lays out what's going to happen in the book a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
and it's more
doesn't
detailed.
reveal too much,
No.
which I like. Yeah.
And I think it gives a better idea of Keiko's character for readers.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But both of them I think are accurate. It wasn't like, "Ugh, that didn't happen."
Yeah.
It's good, solid, good review. No,
Cool.
book blurb.
Synopsis.
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 Jeez.
All right, let's rate it. Kendall.
Oh, you know me, or maybe you don't. Apparently, I loved it. This is a Kindle book, 5 stars.
Well, no, you go first. I just want to see.
It's okay.
3.75 to 4.
Mine was more like a 3.
That was still high for you.
Yeah, no, and I think part of it's because of some of the other things we've read. I definitely
Mhm.
liked this one a lot better
Yeah.
than most of the other fiction books that we read this year.
Did you
Yeah.
raise your rating after you heard our?
No.
ratings? Okay.
I was because I got it and I liked it. I just a little bit towards the ending. I didn't like. I get it, but
Yeah.
it kind of petered out for me. But I really liked. It's weird because nothing happened really, but I really liked like the first 75 pages
Mhm.
before the guy comes in. I know how that's
Well,
weird.
yeah, no, it's
but-
yeah.
Because I felt like it was ironic. There was some dark comedy to it, and there was definitely I feel like and I'm always thinking of what it would look like visually. You could totally play it as kind of like a quirky comedy, and so I kind of liked it. And then I got the point of what was happening and all that, but it kind of I don't
Wasn't
know.
your thing.
Right, but it was very well written, very clever, fast read, and she packs a lot of information. 159 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Without
very-
being like info dumpy about it.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the Murderbot.
Mm-hmm.
Right, not a lot of there's not flowery language, very like a short book, kind of simple sentences, but there's a lot packed into it.
Yeah.
and it's well done. So
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of
Sure,
that. Very different
straightforward.
genre, but reminded me of it. So see, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It's just a strange little book.
Yes, and that's why I loved it.
Okay.
Tasty
First
little morsel.
question. What did you think of Keiko? What did you think of her understanding of society?
I love a unique perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I loved about Keiko is she's going to make connections in the world that I am not going to
Mhm.
make. So like when she's recalling in her childhood how they found a dead bird on the playground and they took it to the mom and all the other kids are like so sad and Keiko looks down and is like, should we fry it for dad?
See, that was funny. I loved that.
Like, because of course, what is the difference between a dead bird in the playground
Yeah.
and like a
Mhm.
chicken on a farm?
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense. Or like, then how all the kids were just bawling over this dead bird. And she's like, so you're going to have a funeral by ripping up the flowers that are growing in the ground? Sure, okay. Like, I love seeing other perspectives. She was direct and funny, but also I think in her own way she could be vulnerable. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand.
I agree. Yeah.
Why.
She was very well aware of the fact that she didn't understand or didn't fit
Yes,
in. It
and-
didn't take her long to realize that.
Yeah, and she was also trying to fit in and feel normal like a
Mhm.
person, and I really empathize with feeling like an outsider, feeling like you don't know what you need to do to be seen as normal because you don't feel abnormal.
Well, and she's clearly has, autism or spectrum or something like that, and how certain sensory things can trigger one way or the other. So for her, the convenience store, she kept going back to the rhythms and the sounds, whatever in that sensory overload. It sounds like an overload, but for her, it was the perfect sensory match that made her like calm down and feel. So, we know that that's true of people like her in real life, that there's certain things that overwhelm them and there's certain things that calm them down. So for her, it was like, I finally found something that made me feel purpose. I mean, that was part of it, but it fit into her rhythm that she needed in order to function.
It gave her a structure
Yeah.
to be in the convenience store, and I thought it was so interesting how she made the convenience store a person and a character, and she was a part of it. And it was, I mean, this is where you can go and start drawing some of those like observations about society and life and work culture. But like, it was very much so like the convenience store has needs and you're responsible for the convenience store needs. So you have to keep your body healthy to be able to work a full shift because that's what the convenience store needs. And it was
Well, and she clearly always struggled with human connections. So for her, this was the best connection she could make without having to deal with the nuances of humanity. In a small way, it was like, for her, like you said, it was a character, but for her, it was like the best human she could connect with, and it wasn't human.
I read something, and I don't know if it's true because I read it in Blink, but when you're talking about somebody with neurodivergence, when they're looking at a picture, everything is as important as anything else. So you can show them a picture of a person and they might focus on the light switch. Like, everything is just as important. And so for Keiko, I went in with this perspective that the convenience store is just as important as her nephew.
Right.
It's just the convenience store gives her purpose and her nephew is there.
Yeah.
But then she has that slartly. That's not a word.
It is now.
Slightly, like, sociopathic, because she's
got
like,
some
I could
violent
take care of
tendencies.
that screaming.
Yeah.
My favorite one
If
was
you
when
just
she
want to
was,
quiet them,
Yeah.
there's a way to do it.
and then the one that cracked me, and I literally laughed out loud, was the one where she was like, the two boys were fighting, so I took the shovel and I smacked him on the back of the head. Or the one where she pulled the teacher's pants down. It stopped it, didn't it?
Yes.
But it was dark, and I liked it. It was funny.
Okay, so Keiko, did you?
Oh, I liked Keiko.
you
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
Keiko? How about you, Angelique?
I loved her. She was great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really enjoyed I kind of liked when it was just her. We were in just her
Yeah,
little world,
yeah.
Mhm.
and even the sister and all that. Like, because those are a part of it. When we introduced the male character, the whatever he was not a romantic lead for whatever he was. But you know what I mean. To me, I felt like I lost some of that connection to Keiko, and that's part of the point, right? Because Keiko kind of lost her way
Mhm.
and all of that. But I liked that little world that she was in. It was quirky and funny. So yeah, I really liked Keiko. Favorite character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's good.
Easily.
I like her. Oh, maybe I should save it for later.
Okay.
Okay. What did you think of her understanding of society? Did it make sense to you, or as like?
She
She's-
was sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
She was so clear
Mhm.
in the way she communicated with herself
Mm-hmm.
and the narration or whatever. It made perfect sense why things did not make sense to her.
Mhm.
And the author did a really good job, I feel like, of creating a character and then being able to communicate that character's inner world.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Um,
really felt that I'm trying to dress like this person. I'm
Mhm.
trying to, because in my mind, this is what it feels like to be a normal human being, this person that I'm looking at. So if I take her mannerisms and I take her whatever, then people will interact with me and see me the same way that they see her. Like, it made
Mhm.
sense in the way she described it. It's like, okay, I get where she's going. She's not going to be that way. But
mhm.
she feels like if she pretends that she's that way, maybe she'll have more of like a human interaction.
Yeah. So, like, I love that she was able to recognize things like copying people's fashion because she realized that it gave her social cachet, but not to move up, but to be ignored almost. And then she was intelligent enough to be like, I would see the brands of my coworkers, and then I would go to blogs and see what other brands. So she wasn't necessarily just copying exactly. It wasn't a copy paste format because I'm sure along the way she figured out that if she copy pasted exactly what someone was
People
wearing,
would be weird. Yeah.
yes, and that there's a lot of logic and thought process behind decisions. It makes her decisions intentional, whereas somebody who is not necessarily going to share her perspective on the world makes a lot of unintentional decisions because it's like, ooh, I like that blouse. And then so
Yeah.
you're going to find another blouse that looks like that, but you're not going to go, or at least someone who is not neurodivergent or neurospicy is not going to go and really think about the choices that they're making in life. I thought that was, I loved her. I loved her so much.
And like how she goes to her sister, what's the excuse I use?
Yes.
Because she doesn't want to feel that, because you could feel it, the pressure, you know, when they started kind of bombarding her.
So that kind of leads into our next question. What do you think of Keiko's relationships with her family, her friends, or coworkers with the convenience store? I like her relationship with Mommy and like the her sister in like the beginning where it seems like her sister is helping her. But then the Shiraha shows up and it kind of, the relationship doesn't, I won't say deteriorate, but it kind of changes when it's...
It is devastating
Yeah.
to me that she realizes that once she starts to conform to society a little bit more as to what society wants, that
Yeah.
people then think they can no longer accept Keiko exactly as she is.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to fit her in this other box that is different, and they're going to be disappointed when they see that she is not falling in line in what they would want for her. And that is crushing to know that you're disappointing somebody else.
Well, especially the sister, because I felt like with the parents, you know, we have to fix her. We have to fix her. The sister was the one that made it seem like you don't need to be fixed. But then when she felt like she was fixed, it was like, hallelujah. So it turns out the sister felt the same way all along. And of course, luckily, she probably didn't process that as much. But for us as the reader, it was kind of like, ah, the one character that you felt like was always in her corner, turns out really was not
really
as much
accepted her as she was and tried to help her through her life a little bit.
No, just kept praying, kept hoping, kept wishing that someday she wouldn't have to help her like that almost.
Yeah, so I can understand it a little bit from this sister's perspective in that she is 30-something and has a sibling who is 30-something that's older that she's going to have to take care of as they get older. Once, you know, Keiko's parents died, because a part of how Keiko was living on her own was an allowance from her folks. And so knowing that you are going to have that responsibility, and it's frustrating because you see this person who should be so capable of doing things because she's so capable at the convenience store. So I can understand the frustration of the sister, but it's also heartbreaking because I do think Keiko recognized that the sister treated her differently when she thought that she was going to follow along with what the sister really wanted. It's hard. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking moment for me.
Yeah. It's a little sad.
It is a little sad.
I think one of my favorite parts of this book is the way that the manager number 8 doesn't really have a name beyond manager number 8. Like, he's part of the convenience store itself. And then he lets her down in the end by being not as good as of a manager as she thought when he just lets her go.
Yeah.
So that was...
Well, they all kind of were. It was like, well, manager number so-and-so was this, and manager number so-and-so. Like, yeah, they just, they never had any person.
Because the manager is part of the convenience store.
Right.
They don't have their own identity to her, I don't think. They just have, like, characteristics and mannerisms.
What I kind of liked about the end is I feel like Keiko, I'm trying to figure out how to verbalize this without being too rambly. In Keiko, we're skipping questions. Sorry. When Keiko finally told Shiraha, no, like, this is enough. I'm a convenience store worker. This is who I am. And then she, like, folds back, and I feel like that gives her a little bit of, I don't know, like self-validation. Because she's been told by the external world that she is different and needs to fit in. This is the first time she's like, no, I fit in at the convenience store. And so I think it also in that time period, she kind of learned that even the manager who is a part of the convenience store is not really part of the convenience store.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it was, I don't know. I'm not saying what I want to say very well, so I'm going to let it stop. Well, maybe I'll find it later. Continue.
Okay.
I found it so frustrating when so you find out Shiraha gets fired because he's being weird with female customers.
Yeah.
And like I think it's Azumi. Mrs. Azumi is like, no, he's a creep. He's terrible. It's good he's gone. He should just die or something. Yeah. Her and Sugawara, he should just die. And Keiko's like, yeah, he should just die. But then later when they find out that he's living with her, they're like, oh, that's great. And it's only because it means that, to them, it means that she's become more of a part of what she should be.
Yeah, part of society.
Like this creep, who to her is just a step below like a rapist.
Right.
Yes.
I feel like that's really a comment.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I put in my notes. And it might be there might be a little bit of a cultural difference going on that I want to be careful of, but I think it's also true for our culture. An unmarried woman no one knows what to do with an unmarried woman,
Yeah.
right? Like if you are of a certain age and you're not married, then it's, ooh, you're a spinster, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Perfectly fine and capable. But I do think that those kind of ideas, but once you become married, oh, maybe there was something redeemable. Maybe now that through the fact that she's married, he won't have creepy tendencies towards other women because he's able to fulfill his needs in the marriage. Maybe they'll be able to go on and create, be a part of society in the way that everyone wants. The traditional parts of society. Like, I just, there's something dangerous about an unmarried woman. Go ahead.
With him, was he also neurospicy, or was he just a butt?
I feel like he was just a butt. What do you think, Angelique?
It's probably a little bit of both that doesn't give him an excuse to be.
Oh,
what
no,
he
no, no, no,
is.
no. I'm
Yeah.
not. I just,
Yes.
because the way he kind of like repeated the Stone Age thing and the Stone Age
know.
thing, and it just makes me.
And
that he heard that,
even,
and
yeah,
then he
even
repeats.
Keiko was like, he's just repeating something that he's heard.
Right, right. But see, that makes me kind of like she kind of repeats mannerisms and things
Yeah.
because she thinks that's. I'm no excuse. He's awful.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
horrible.
he's
I just didn't know if that was part of it, and that's what made me wonder if, at the end, I didn't know where they were kind of going with it. And now I do, but are they going to somehow? And they didn't redeem him, so that's when I was like, maybe he's just a butt. I just didn't know if that was part of it.
So I thought it was interesting because they've paired these two outcasts together that society is going to see them in the same way. But Keiko has learned how to, I don't know if it's her just own natural, I don't think she's a bad part. I feel like there's a goodness there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Shiraha, like, I understand why he is the way he is, but he just won't grow out of it.
Right.
Mm-mm.
He is still stuck in that woe is me, very,
The world is against me.
yes,
Yeah.
that very kind of, in the same way that we want Keiko to, feel her independence and be like, you're a strong human. On the other side of that is, everyone's against me, it's all about me. And it's like seeing two sides of the same coin where, you're wanting one character to exert more independence and the other character to be a little less self-centered.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting balance of how you treat people in society who have, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
But he was that was a very well written character because we all know those people. The reason that I can't find a woman or the reason that I can't do anything is because society is against me. And there's no recognition that maybe society, but maybe you're part of the problem or a huge part of it or maybe all of it.
So I want to be clear. I didn't like Shiraha. I thought he was
He was
gross.
awful.
But there were some flickers of redeeming qualities. Like, he knew enough of when to step up, like when it was his own sister-in-law or Keiko's sister who came. Like, he had flickers of it in there.
Again, well written.
I feel
There's
like
some
it
depth.
was a little bit too self-serving to be fully
That is
a
fair.
flicker.
That is fair. Oh,
honestly.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
knows enough to help himself, basically.
So him being such a dislikable character really makes me appreciate Keiko a little bit more, because if this were a different book and she were a different main character, the story would be, I'm taking the dislikable guy and I'm going to make him likable and we're going to find love in our uniqueness. And the way she treated him was so amazing. He was an animal in her house.
Right.
Here is your feed.
Feeding time. I loved
Yes.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, it was, you are a pet.
Yeah.
And she knew it, and I loved her for it.
Yeah.
But again, that's a lot to pack in to 158 pages. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
even though he was despicable, she did a very good job of in the very short time building all those layers that you just talked about.
Mhm.
Again, very well written. Weird little book.
It is a weird
Little book, but
I
very
re-
well written.
I really wanted her, well, like when she was telling her coworkers, I think she wanted to tell them, but they kind of misunderstood that he was her new pet.
Yeah.
It's like a little dog she keeps, a little yappy dog that she keeps. in
I
her
found him on the
bathroom.
streets and I adopted him in.
I mean, she really
She
did.
did.
She really- that's what I'm
literally
saying,
found him
yeah,
on
yeah.
the street.
We used the bathroom as his
He slept
his
in the
bed.
tub.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
So,
All she needed to say was like, and then I rub his belly, and I pat him on the head as he goes out or something like that, and it'd been funnier.
And-
But
so in a weird way, I feel like as horrible as Shiraha was, like, he was probably the most genuine relationship that she had in the book, because she could treat him exactly as she felt. Whereas
Yeah.
everyone else, you're talking about relationships,
Yeah.
she's trying to fit a need or fit into a mold that the other person wants or expects. And so I feel like Shiraha was almost necessary in order to help her kind of figure out, oh, I like being able to just be me. And like when she left the convenience store and she just kind of deteriorated because she was like, well, I don't need to eat. I don't particularly like to eat. I don't need to bathe myself. I don't particularly like she just kind of got depressed.
waking up at 3:00 in the morning, like I have no incentive
Sleeping
to
until
sleeping.
late.
Yeah.
So it's like she kind of was able to, because she went through that experience, figure out
What mattered?
that she was maybe okay just being a convenience store worker. I am curious what it will look like when she is in her 50s, 60s, and 70s and cannot perform the physical functions of the
Mhm.
convenience store. I wonder
Yeah.
how she'll navigate that. But I'm glad she's at least
We
not
need
feeling
a
pressure to
sequel,
leave.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Maybe, because then it'll be a comment on elderly
Yeah.
and how we treat, not that 50s is elderly, but you know
It's
what
funny,
I
I
mean.
Was it the Golden Girls? They're all in their 50s, but we acted like in the 80s that they were all like,
70s.
yeah, people are like, oh my God, I'm their age.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Also, the 80s styling just made
Yeah,
you
that
look
did not
older.
help. No.
Just made you look older. Granny looks younger at 88 than she did in 1988.
Right. That's funny.
Anyway, what was...
Ready for the next question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite moment or quote? Or at least favorite moment or quote?
I mean, I'll go through my notes at the end. But yes, my very favorite moment was at the very end. Actually, I have it on the quote.
While she's looking.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite, well, I said it earlier, that opening where she's a kid, that whole couple like pages, and she couldn't
Mhm.
figure it out, and she was hitting people with shovels, and that just cracked me up. It was just, I was like, I wish that kind of, some of that dark humor got lost along the way. It didn't, but it kind of did. I liked that dark humor. I mean, I literally was on the desk. I had it up on Hoopla. I probably shouldn't say that out loud. Anyway, and I was reading, I went, like I was chuckling. I was like, oh, she just hit it with a shovel. Like, it was just, I don't know why that little bit, and that's how you kind of got to know her. But I
Mhm.
liked that just little hint of darkness in those moments. So,
Okay. The very last line, or one of the last lines, the animal me, the convenience store worker, has absolutely no use for you whatsoever. When she's telling Shiraha, no, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back.
Yeah. My favorite part is probably when, like we just talked about it, when she considers Shiraha like a little pet, a little
Yeah.
dog that she's keeping. But I also like the end where she goes into that other convenience store and just like gets revitalized by just fixing all the problems that are in there and finding her place.
Yes, I relate to that so much.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that?
oh yeah,
Like when you're in other libraries? So
oh yeah.
when I was when I was a Target employee, if I would go into another Target, I would be zoning,
Mhm.
covering those diamonds.
Where was I think it was I can't remember which library it was I was visiting. I literally was like putting books on display. Like, this is empty. It needs a little pop. This is a pretty cover. Like,
I understand this gives me purpose.
Yeah.
I'm making it better. I'm improving the function of this place.
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Yeah, I feel that when you go in those. So I could see where she was coming from with that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So this is probably a dumb question.
No dumb questions. Only dumb
Well,
answers.
You don't know me that well, don't you? So the more direct translation of the title would be convenience store person or convenience store human. It was translated to convenience store woman in English to highlight the feminist themes. Do you agree with this decision, or do you think Keiko would agree with this decision?
That's not a dumb question. That's
The highbrow question.
I
like it.
know.
It's very philosophical.
I know. Okay. So
I
from
do
a-
think the feminist themes are important.
I do. I think I think as an American woman, I am more drawn to this cover, seeing that it's a convenience store woman, and I am more likely to pick out a book that's called The Convenience Store Woman than The Convenience Store Person.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, like you were saying, the feminist themes are important. But I wonder, in, Japan, if it were the author choosing the title or the publishing company choosing the title, because that also means something. If it's the author saying convenience store person, then it makes me feel like it should be convenience store person. But if it was just like the publishing company being like, she's a convenience store person, but then the circle going back around. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Keiko does not want to be seen as a woman. She wants to be seen as a convenience store person.
Worker, yeah.
And so right now, this is the beginning of the book. This
Yeah.
title is representative of society and Keiko in the beginning. But Keiko at the end, the goal is convenience store person.
But
Yeah.
you said it at the beginning because it said that. I was more likely to read it. It
Yes.
sold more copies because they did that. In this country, it sold more
Yes.
copies because of that.
But the question was, would Keiko like
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Keiko probably would not like it. It would have more meaning to her, I think, if it stayed convenience store person.
Yeah.
But
agree.
me, Kendall, I'm more likely to read. Like, it's a pretty blue cover with a cute little sushi ball. Like, look at that little rice ball.
Little beret.
I know. It just looks so
A
cute.
row beret.
I know. Like, I just need like some soy sauce and I'm good to go. What did you think? Other voices.
Other voices. I agree with you. I do. Yeah, I was drawn to this book because of the title. And then I saw the original title and I was like, that's not woman, that's person. And so I agree with you that it probably got more attention here being convenience store woman. But I also agree with you that Keiko probably would prefer it to be convenience store worker because that's what she is. That's the animal that she is.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'd like that.
Ooh, convenience store animal.
Yeah.
That makes her sound, because of our
Yeah.
like she
No,
could
I
be
don't-
savage,
like the-
but she could be savage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I almost like, would she like it that way? Would she was like, I'm just a beast in the forest of the convenience store or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. So maybe she would like that. I feel like it would get way off topic with the readers.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
people would be like,
It's
"What
just
is
funny
this?"
that you
But
mentioned it. I was like, oh, maybe.
Yes.
How would you describe this book to someone else? And who would you recommend it to?
I'm going to recommend it to somebody. I'll ask if they liked the Rosie Project. Do they like Eleanor Oliphant is always fine? Eleanor Oliphant is fine. Do you like Old Man in Sweden?
Frederick Bachman.
Yes. Do you like his books? Do you like characters with a unique perspective that are not going to necessarily fall in line with society? It's a little bit humorous. It's a quick read. Do you want to follow their story for a minute? And if you do like that, then this is definitely a book for you.
I know. I actually would love to do it for book club, and because I know I can tell you right now, the people are gonna be like, "This was just weird. I did not like this," But I could tell you some of them like that would be like, I kind of like. I think Brandy would like it, and I think like Carol and Linda, some of those others would really like it because they like books that have some of that challenge to them, and they like we all liked like The Maid, again, a very kind of traditional mystery type book, but a similar lead character. Yeah, it's short, which is another reason why I would recommend it for book club, because I might be able to finish the book.
You've already read it,
And
too.
exactly, this would be perfect. But yeah, just because I think it would spark an interesting discussion, and I think that question you asked about person versus woman would spark a very interesting discussion. And that's not a slight towards any of them. I'm saying it would be a really divided room, but it would be a great session of book club, because I know the people who would love it, and I know the people who would not understand it or not like it. But then they could work on each other, and by the end, I think you kind of come somewhere in the middle, kind of like yeah,
kind of like Keiko
kind of like
did at
us,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, I this is one that I can think of a few people I would recommend it to, because it is a little bit challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of open your mind, like you can't go in thinking it's just a kind of normal novel about a woman who finds herself. It's not.
Because if you were to say the plot, it would be social outcast meets other social outcast. They move in together. Society is happy. They're miserable.
Right.
Like, that is the plot.
Yeah.
And not a whole lot happens.
Right. It's more nuanced
Which,
and character driven.
Thank you for keeping it short.
Yeah, and that's
if
the
that had
other
dragged
too.
on, I would have struggled.
Yeah.
Because even by the end, I was like, if he says Stone Age one more time, I am done with this book. And I'm like, I got 20 pages left. Yeah, this was meant to be short. If it had been a 200-page book, 250-page book, it would have been awful.
So I listened to this book, and I love the narrator, Nancy Wu. Thank you very much, because she made Shiraha a mouth breather. He would go, ugh. It's like they're in the Stone Age.
I actually think I would have liked that. I think I would like that better.
Ickiness to him in the way Nancy Wu portrays him, and I love it.
So note to self, maybe do the audio. I might try it.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think this book would, maybe people, not everybody would like it, but I think it would resonate with a lot of people.
That's a beautiful way to put that, yes.
Yeah. Because it is about finding your place in the world as yourself instead of what other people want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I think a lot of our library folks, people come to the library because this is a safe space for a lot of people, maybe who don't feel like other places accept them. And so we should put this on staff picks.
I'm definitely going
because
to.
I think that other people might discover it and get something out of it. And I don't mean that I'm just saying, we know in the library there are a lot of people who say, This is my home. This is my safe place. I'm surrounded by the books. I don't necessarily feel as comfortable in other, social or community settings, but there's something about this place that's unique. Let's put it out there so people feel it and get the book.
Yeah, I mean, I
okay,
stars,
good.
1,000%, I would do it.
I'll add a copy today.
I almost wish it were on the high school battle of the books.
Ooh.
Because I feel like this would be a good narrative perspective to get high schoolers to think about their own place in society and how they view people who are maybe seen as odd or weird or strange.
Or the ones that choose careers that their parents didn't want them to. Or choose things. Trust me, been there, done that. But you have to find what's best for you and not what society tells you should be. You don't have to be the high-powered person who's traveling all over the place. You don't have to be the attorney who's miserable. I think that that's important for high schoolers because so many of them are on this track of you have to do certain things, you have to be certain things, and this shows that you be what is best for you.
I just saw it could what was it? It was something across Facebook, so it could be not real, but it resonated with me. And at the time, the story we were reading, where people found that people lived longer who had a sense of purpose and not necessarily happiness. Like happiness shouldn't necessarily be the goal, but purpose, giving someone purpose has such an impact on the human condition.
Well, and that's why I encourage people to so for me, that used to be my job. I mean, it's not anymore, which is fine. But there was a documentary I watched called Join or Die. And it was about how society, democracy, the community things that we feel like aren't as strong as they used to be. It's because people are no longer joining things.
Yeah.
And for her, joining meant the convenience store, but joining parts of society where they fit in. And so for me, it's been getting out of what I thought was supposed to be my world. Kind of like with her, it went back to the world, but it's the same concept of and finding other things. So for me, getting out in the community and being a part of different groups and being a part of particularly a social organization or a service organization like Rotary has been that thing for me. And you're right. It's not necessarily, there are days where it drives me nuts. It's not necessarily, it is a happiness, but it's because I feel like I'm doing something that matters and it makes me feel good. I feel like I'm a part of something that's bigger, that's making this little place we live a better place.
Yes.
And she feels that way about the convenience store.
Yes.
For her, it is that community. We need to take care of the customers. We know that this person needs this. And, it's a similar thing of whatever that is. So I agree 100% is what I was going to say.
Yes.
That went long. I, again, lost train of thought, but I agree with you.
I resonate with so many of the observations that she and Shiraha have made about society and pressures. So, and I followed a very traditional track. It's find your career, move up in your career. You need to get married. You need to have children. You need to have another child. You've had too many children.
You said that. I didn't. So we didn't say.
But these are the things
Yeah,
that
I
I'm
know.
told. Because now I go out with 3 kids. Oh, your hands are full. Okay, thanks. You want to help?
Yeah,
No?
right.
Then back up. I can...
Go run after them. Go get them. Bring them back if you want to
Yes.
help. Right.
There's, a lot of what has been going on in my mind about society is something that we haven't really talked about is in America, we have been taught for so long to be individualized, to be on our own, but also fitting in this expectation. And Keiko and Shiraha, they're doing the same thing in Japan with almost the inverse.
Yeah.
You have to be individual enough to contribute to the society as a whole. And if you're not contributing to society, you're a drain on society. And why isn't the convenience store worker valued? There's some stuff that I really resonate with about purpose, and it's once you meet that purpose, now you're not meeting it good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I just appreciated this book a lot.
Okay, 3.5. Y'all talked me into it. No, because because I think that's the thing is when you read it, it is odd on the surface. But
Very
when you start
odd.
talking about it, again, like book club, you start unpacking it, the more and more and more, you're like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that was a good point. So 3.5. Which means on Goodreads it'll be a 4 because you have to
Can't do
round up,
halves
which
or
I don't
quarters.
like.
I don't either.
But that's fine. I mean, I don't mind rounding up for, if I really don't like it, I will round down.
I know. You always kind of know how I really felt about a book because if I put 5 stars and then I put 4.5 stars, it's it wasn't really a 5-star, but I liked it more. But then if I put 4 stars and then underneath 4.5, it's I had less of an emotional connection. I intellectually know this is supposed to be a good book,
Right.
but it didn't. It wasn't it didn't take off for me. Anyway, go ahead.
The psychology of Goodreads ratings.
For
There should be a
Kindle.
whole podcast.
We could.
That point you made about the pervasiveness, the insidiousness of why isn't the convenience store worker considered valuable to society
Mm-hmm.
is so bad that even convenience store workers themselves in this book
Mm-hmm.
also feel that.
Mm-hmm.
It's Keiko was their best worker,
Mm-hmm.
and they're happy that she's leaving just so she could go spend time with a terrible person.
I know. He's trash.
He is trash.
He deserves the ills that have befallen him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he worse than Ben?
I don't
No.
think so.
No.
Ben
Okay,
is still-
which Ben?
Hoover Ben is still the worst ever, in my
Okay.
opinion.
I concur. And I also think a little bit our perception of Shiraha is supposed to be that he's not great.
Yeah.
Mm.
The characters in the book comment about how he's not great. Upside Down Ben, he's still supposed to be this glorified old man.
Well, so is the
Yeah.
Hoover Ben. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
both
he's supposed
Bens.
to. Yeah, both Bens are supposed to be characters that we like, and we got to them like, oh my god, how can you like these characters?
So I would say if they were all being treated the same as they're all bad,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, Shiraha is the worst.
Yeah.
He says really horrible things
Yeah.
oh, if we got married, don't worry, we won't have kids. I'm not touching you. Listen,
He says it in a really gross way.
I
Yeah,
know
he
he
does.
really does.
very
I wanted
gross.
to punch. I just wanted to punch him in the face.
I was hoping that if Keiko killed somebody in this book, it would be him.
That would have been a twist. And also, yes.
Yeah, but is it worse that I burned you and then I wrote a novel profiting off of it? I mean, I don't know, and then kept it a secret and then stalked you. I don't know.
But it's okay because we're in love now.
Right. I don't know. Saying horrible things and then I still think Ben's the worst in any setting. I think he's the worst.
Touche.
Okay, so we talked about the ending a little bit. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the ending or thought about the ending? I'm agree with you. It kind of petered out a little bit, and that's why I was more of a 4.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. I wanted a little bit something to happen because that's the kind of book that I read usually, where stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I really
like
did.
A climax and
Yeah,
a denouement,
yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
just
I
being,
liked
I'm
the
done.
concept of what
Done.
happened. I liked that she was free of this butthole.
I would have least
but,
liked her.
you know, but
I would have least liked her to get her job back, or a different
Yeah.
job at a convenience store,
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
I know that she's settled
Yeah.
and maybe happy.
I guess we just know that
Or
the
she's found her
intent is
purpose.
going to
Yeah.
happen, so
We-
it'll probably happen.
right, and
Yes,
because
yeah.
even though they're all happy for her, they also they'll probably miss her, and so they're probably
Yeah.
like and they always need to hire people, so they're definitely gonna hire her back.
So that's the angle. But what would it be like for her after leaving and coming back? I wonder if she would fall into the same.
Oh yeah,
But like, would the other employees view her? I don't know. Like, after they've just established that she's broken by wanting to come back, they were so excited for her to leave. Now that she's back, it's like, oh,
but I think
Because
the
of-
point is she doesn't care anymore.
oh, good point. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
No,
to,
I'm
no, I just
here.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Don't be sorry. I'm here for it.
Oh, I think it would be interesting to. I would love to
like
read
a
what
little
happened.
epilogue.
Yeah, of the people around her, but then her that freeing moment of, but they're gonna think I'm that way anyway.
It really should. Yes, that should. Be
We
like a
always
little epilogue.
rewrite these books so well.
I
They
know.
need to listen to us.
I know they should.
Problem is we're not clever enough to come up with the rest of it. We just
we don't have the ideas. We only have the band-aids.
You know, there is a purpose for us in society. Do not devalue that.
Absolutely.
word.
Sorry, Kendall. I did not mean to.
Yeah, I can't write the book. I can't come up with the idea. I don't have the stamina to get it through the publishing process.
Yeah.
Who wants to market? Not me.
That's why people like fanfic, like people publish blogs and fanfic because it's freeing to just be able to put your writing out there and not have to worry about all the
Yeah. A lot of
Ugh.
people, independent publishing,
yeah.
Yeah.
self-publish.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask the question about who you would cast because I personally don't know enough Japanese actors
Me neither.
to cast. I know Rinko Kikuchi, who is in Pacific Rim. I think she would actually be good.
She's amazing. She's an Oscar-nominated actor. She's great.
I would definitely watch the movie
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah,
miniseries
yeah.
or the yeah.
I think it'd be really good.
I'm here for it. I support that. I just don't know enough about Japanese
Yeah.
actors.
And I don't want to be
Sorry.
like, what American people do you want to?
Let's not. Let's not.
Well, you know that's what's going to happen. Is it's going to be Asian American? Like they're not going to do it, or they'll do it in Japan, then we'll remake it in English. We're not going to just like watch it with the subtitles here. Come on.
I mean, I guess to be fair, we could have Googled it before, and I did not. I'm still too stuck on the thinking about
Do
it.
you think this book would have as much impact if it was set in America?
Absolutely, I do.
Because I personally think that the setting of Japan, and from what I know about Japan, which could be entirely wrong,
Yeah, I mean,
gives
that's-
this book sort of a lot of its weight.
I agree.
In
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
And like the fresh foods and things, like convenience stores in Japan are
America.
nice. They're not like, is that hot dog been over there for 3 days? Sure, I'll try it and see what
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah.
But I think the concepts of what we're talking about would translate to any society, but America too.
I think there's a ton of universal themes, and I
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah.
I think there would need to be an Americanized adaptation to encapsulate the same. So I would put it in a different environment, but maybe have a lot of the same. I would put it in a different environment for it to have the same weight in America.
Did y'all ever see the show Superstore?
No,
America Ferrera.
I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that
You
because a
think?
lot of those characters and workers, some of them want to get out, some of them, but like one of the managers, his dad's hardware store was bought out by the big guys, but
Mhm.
he's still so dedicated to this company and he loves it and it's his passion. And when people like talk down around him, you know, it Superstore.
Yeah.
In America, it's the equivalent of working at those kind of things. So it's not the same thing, but they have kind of done that concept and it does work. It's a great show, by the way. Underrated. Probably on Peacock.
I'll have to look it up.
Probably.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think you'd have to adapt it to each culture because I think the underlying messaging is still as strong with the story, but it's going to resonate in different cultures, different
Yeah.
ways. But yeah,
All right.
so you're both right.
All right. Do we have any final
I don't
thoughts?
have to be right.
I
Any
mean, I have
final
my-
notes?
Just do your notes.
Which, okay, I'm sorry because I took a lot of notes. They're mostly quotes. So basically, if you want an idea of what the book's like, here you go.
This is the Cliff Notes version,
Right.
Kindle style.
I'm also skipping ahead from things I've already said. So I did mention I did point out I love that she wanted to eat the bird instead of burying it. It's
Mhm.
practical. It's so practical.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Her job allowed her to be a part of the machine of society. I'd been reborn. And purpose is powerful. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of the book. Quote, God, I pulled off being a person. Good job. Gold star.
Put that on a t-shirt. I like that.
I know. So this idea that Keiko changes herself to reflect other people and stuff like that, that is a very real and human thing, and we actually all do it. When we were in theater, we studied Uta Hagen, and she talked about senses of self. So like who I am with you guys is not who I am with my
That's
mother.
true.
It's not who I am with a patron. It's not who I am with your mother or your mother. Like I'm all different versions. The doctor, my children, Marcus.
Who you love.
I know. I think. Okay. So side note. And I'm sorry if you have to cut this out because it's boring. But sometimes I wonder if I like talk a little bit too like funny, like ugh, my kids. Like I'm worried that people are gonna think that I don't absolutely adore my children, and I'm not like.
No,
like,
I think they just think you're a stressed, tired mom. I think it's okay.
Like I do really like my family. Like they are. If I didn't have them, I'd be so sad. Like I'd be a sad.
But
little
you'd have
turtle.
us.
Well,
Remember, we're all going to live together when we're old and decrepit. And...
I know, but we've
And
already
your children are going to
discussed-
take care of
We've
us.
already discussed
That's
it
true.
on
If you didn't have the
purpose.
children, we would be trouble. So,
They're going to change light bulbs for us and
Yeah.
make sure the yard is cut.
I like it.
We're going to be so freaking annoying.
I have a funny thing when we stop recording that I have to tell you.
Okay. Anyway, so she is accepted as a well-functioning part of the store by having impeccable attendance. Showing up's half the battle. It's amazing how much that is worth its weight in gold.
You're maybe crying.
I know.
Praise.
Just show up. Just show up. Oh my God. Could you guys imagine having to have morning sessions every day?
You did. You were at Target.
I know. I did think about that.
And we used to
Side note,
sit at Starbucks and be like, oh, God, here they go again. Hand holding, clapping, and whatever. We were never a part of it. That we were excluded.
First of all, if I had clapped for you for something that you do every day, you'd feel good about yourself. They took that away, by the way, and it is
Really?
a more depressing space because no one claps for you now. Anyway,
the point was, no one ever clapped for me.
but could you imagine having to practice saying good customer services? Hello, welcome to the library.
Thank you for your custom.
Deep bow. Okay,
Okay, I do that, just not as like Stepford Wife-ish.
but like every single day, they all have to practice.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Like,
true.
could you imagine? Like, that is that's a part of that would not translate here. Everyone would be like,
No.
"What are they doing?"
I don't think it's such a bad idea
Let's practice it. Let's do it for 1
because
week.
we need some practice.
I want to do it for 1 week. Oh, okay. It helps that I'm not here in the mornings. Oh, I love that the new kid after the morning session was like, "Ugh, it's just a religion," and Keiko's response was, "Yeah, and like, of course." After a snot bubble forms on the guy's nose, and she thinks. So there's enough moisture behind his papery thin skin for mucus to form. She is savage. I love it. She was stroking her infant nephew's cheek, and she likened it to touching a blister, and I never thought of that. And she's not wrong.
No, she's not.
They are very soft. And also, you can tell how she feels about her nephew. Like,
He's just another animal.
Oh, that one was funny. She's like, "Well, I just saw this baby. Why do I have to see that baby? They're all
Yeah.
same. They're all
They're all
babies."
I
all
know,
babies
but
are
they
the
kind of are.
same.
Contemplating killing the baby because he's a hassle. She's got some violent tendencies. Cultural or personal perspective. Not sure the perception of this convenience store being forcibly normal seems opposite to how we think of convenience stores.
Mhm.
So, but that is something to be said that, like, this is an environment that we are going to keep it at this level, and any disruption to that will be eliminated.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a sci-fi novel.
It did kind of have that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her mother was both relieved and disappointed at no new developments in her life. I think that's the universal mother.
It is. It so is.
Oh my gosh, the men who are the married husbands of the friends or whatever. It doesn't really matter who you marry. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
it
was gross.
does.
Yes.
Ugh. Quote, the normal world has no room for exceptions and always quietly eliminates foreign objects. Anyone who's lacking is disposed of. Unless I am cured, Normal people will expurgate me. I've never used that word before. Continuing. Finally, I know why my family tried so hard to fix me. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Yeah.
Quote, for now, I'm still a usable tool. So then I just think they had quite the commentary about aging and the physicality of jobs, usefulness.
You know what? She would probably make a good manager because she will let you know exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it.
Actually, yes, I was thinking about that when she walked into the new. I thought that she would be promoted to manager in the new store because then it would show like.
That's a career,
It's a career, and it maybe would solve both of her problems. Because she went in and she told that girl exactly what needed to happen, and she was in a suit, and they thought that she was from corporate.
Yeah.
Kind of thought that's how it was going to end. You were on the nose, Angelique.
Thanks.
Okay, where was I? Sorry, I feel you guys getting bored. I'll go faster.
Is that written down?
No.
Oh, the way you said it was. All right, I feel you guys getting like, did she write that down in the middle of her?
No, I can feel you guys like powering down. Okay.
It's Friday at 8:45. We didn't power up to
It's
begin
also-
with. Don't worry.
We're also over an hour now.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You can keep going. Go ahead.
I'm stuck. I can't. You might have to cut this one up. Get it up? What does that have to do with marriage?
Oh, that
And
was
then I was
good.
really disappointed when I thought they were going to have her marry Shiraha. I butcher his name. I'm sorry, universe. It's the first time I've had an animal at home. Getting pregnant is the best thing for a man who loafs about? No, because then he's just going to loaf about at home with the kid. Her observations are so simple yet painful. She now has a man at home, so she's welcomed on board with her friends. She's back in the group, is how she said it. Quote, after adopting Shiraha.
Okay, in the sequel, she should adopt an actual dog and name it Shiraha.
Yes.
Just a full circle kind of over there would be nice.
I love it. She showered in the coin-operated shower and let him stay in the tub. Get out so I can have a bath. That's awful.
Yeah.
Shiraha's the worst. And I'm really upset that she left the store. Purpose is important. I no longer knew what standard to live by. Like, that's how much it was important to her to work at the convenience store. And the fact that she got to the point where even Shiraha was like, you need to go use the coin-operated shower. Like, she must have been bad.
We could have left the bathroom and let her go in there.
Yeah.
Well,
He's terrible.
he's just awful.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even allow that. Okay.
Ugh.
I'm finished. That was basically the book. Listeners,
I
you
get the
read
Cliff
it. Good
Notes
job.
version. I like it.
Good job. You did it.
At the beginning, you should be like, if you'd like a Cliff Notes version, please fast forward to 56:50. Yeah.
Minute 1 hour 5.
All right. Any more thoughts? Are we done?
We're done.
We're done.
Angelique's done, so we're done.
It was a good book. We enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah.
Yay.
There's a lot to recommend it to people. Anyways, to close out the episode, I'm going to promote the library website. GastonLibrary.org is our main website where you can access all our digital resources, our catalog, and our calendar of events. You'll also find our social media links on our contact page. So check out GastonLibrary.org for all your Gaston Library needs. That's it for this episode of We're Booked Up. Convenience Store Woman is available both in the library and online at the NC Digital Library, the Libby app, and Hoopla. Let us know what you think of the book and what you think of what we think of the book. Just leave a comment at the Off the Shelf blog at gastonlibrary.blogspot.com or at gastonspeaks.podbean.com. Next month will be the 4th annual Vodist Awards.
Woo!
Thank you for listening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.